Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi, and I am excited you're here. That's going to be exciting.
You. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. I think I need to be looking at the camera this time. The network is not friendly this morning, and I'm 100% sure that today's show is going to be wholesome. I'm already set. I decided to get ready as early as possible today because I can't wait at all for us to deliberate on the workplace dynamics. And I want to welcome everyone personally to the show. Remember to subscribe to the channel and as much as possible, get ready. I'm waiting for Mr. Rotimi, and I'm sure others also are around, and it is going to be great this morning. The network is somehow, but definitely Good Morning Education Show is a show that starts every morning 8 a.m. Monday to Friday, and we discuss different topic of interest that challenges and also bring a lot of solution into the education sector. And I'm 100% sure that you are with us this morning. Kindly share the video with your colleagues. We are on Facebook, on YouTube. Share the video so that we can reach out to as much as educator we can reach out to. Mr. Rotimi will be back soon. Yeah, welcome back, Mr. Rotimi.
I've always been there.
Are you sure?
How does it feel like being a host? How does it feel like being a host?
I'm very feeling great about it. I was already catching fun, you know.
All right, so we're live with direct, and yes, even though the internet is trying to act like a guest on the show, but we are kicking the internet out of the show. But then we'll have to
Yeah.
say good morning, internet. So, good morning, internet.
So,
Yes, very important, very important. Just need to adjust the line. Okay, so how are you today, Eben? Good to
I'm
see
fine.
you.
I'm fine.
In a
I'm
long
fine.
time.
Mr. Rotimi. Yes, so been a long time staying in the studio, sitting down and joining the Good Morning Education Show. I know that is what you are trying to say. I decided to just wake up as early as possible today, just to join the show.
Okay, so let's just take the headline news and then we'll be back. But before we take the headline news, guess who's in the building?
Hey,
Hello,
ah,
Titi.
good morning, my
Hello.
darling.
She's back from the honeymoon.
Hello.
I
Hello.
Good
saw
morning.
I saw what you were up to yesterday, Titi.
Really? Good morning.
Yeah,
Good morning, everyone.
I spy
Eben,
with my little
Good
eyes. I
morning,
saw
man.
a breakfast in bed, kind of something.
Mm.
good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good
And
morning.
ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only safety chick in the building.
Good
Safety
morning,
chick.
everyone. Good morning. I'm
Good
coming. I'm telling you, I'll
morning.
call on my education.
All right, let's have the news and then we'll be right back. Let's just have the news. And hello, Ifyok, all the way from UAE. Good morning to you. Great to have you on the show
Our
today.
amazing Ethiopia.
I'm telling you,
Yes, yes.
I'm now in love with if you're thank you so much that review by your kids of the safety checkup game. But so you have a
So
new
Grace
baby.
has
Titi,
to have been
Titi, Titi, I have a question. Oh. Titi, I have a question. That kiss you are
Go
blowing, are you
ahead,
sure
go
it's
ahead.
Ethiopia? Because we can't see, and you know you're just coming out from.
from anniversary.
I didn't say anything. The safety chick that said it.
Rotimi,
So
don't
is
be
your
jealous.
collaborator that
Don't
said,
be jealous.
okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going for the news right now. Thank you. We're going for this. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. It's a full house today, and we're live and we're direct. And we're having post celebration for Titi and post celebration for Lola. And Titi has a lot of gist for me. I'm very sure about that. And she has a lot of goodies for me. So, Titi, she's, looking at Titi's profile picture, I can almost imagine what's going on in Titi's mind. I can almost.
Rotimi,
Thinking about the money, and I'm just maybe the picture is just like it has arrived. Let me make
No,
it.
no, no. Ibe,
Yes, ma.
we missed one headline actually. We missed education and tech experts celebrate anniversary in style. Breakfast in bed. Then we now put the caption, "Oh shit, Bella bless."
Rotimi, it's good to see that you guys are really, really, really in a wonderful, wonderful mood this morning. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think we are entering basically the last quarter of the year. It's been an interesting year. It's been an awesome year on so many levels.
And you guys have just been going on pages of newspaper, Gucci on the newspaper, Titi on the newspaper. It's been a fantastic year, you know what I mean?
No, Rotimi, let's be honest. There are some things I said in this education space last year that men, I push them as very, very in the future.
Yeah.
And in the twinkling of an eye, that has completely changed.
Wow.
That has completely changed. You know, education, all the things about school, embracing technology, seeing the importance of technology.
Wow.
After doing rounds in 2019, I said, man, Nigerians are really not ready for, technology. And even the big schools, I felt them were paying a lot of lip service. They had the devices and the infrastructure, but they're just ticking the box. They weren't really using technology as it should be used. But behold, now all that has been brought to the light, and in the twinkling of an eye, there's a part in the Bible that says, "Yeah, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream." That is really the case of education right now. A lot of things have just come out into the open. Suddenly small schools that felt, it's a lie, I'm just at the back, I'm just managing. Suddenly they can just, get into the front. So it's just shown that you don't have to be big and you don't have to be a Goliath to conquer in the education space. There are just some things that are important. It has also exposed our use of technology, and how it can help you expand your business. So that people that were afraid of it have embraced it to see how it can, in the twinkling of an eye, connect you to communities, connect you to a world beyond what you thought. People are struggling to fill holes, but with technology on your webinar, you can reach thousands. People that you didn't even. You can make friends overnight. See, Ifyok, I don't know Ifyok before, but Ifyok is now my life.
That's true. And she's already blowing you the kisses.
Oh my goodness.
Uzechi, you are a kiss ambassador.
Rotimi, see the webinars we've attended, right? I see some of the webinars I've attended. See how people have connected with people out of the country to be on their webinars that they would never have done before. See the wealth it has brought. So all this, without paying the big money, it's been a game changer. So I look at 2020. I'm sorry, I only see the highs. I know there are lows, but I look at the applications the highs have made, and I'm excited for 2021. So let's back to the news.
No, actually, it's part of news. You guys are in the news. It's part of news. And we're grateful that we're an extension of your news. Your testimony is our testimony. Hallelujah, somebody. And well, I don't quite think your kisses are our kisses. All right. So back to the headline news. Over. Don't spoil us. Over. Remember that song we used to sing. Now the day is over.
Night is drawing near. Child.
So you have to release that one.
Okay, so to the headlines. Just looking at now that the elections is over in Edo State, I think they're now getting back to the business of the state. So their schools will be resuming, so that's good. I see that Delta says nursery school to resume in January. I strongly believe a lot of people will follow suit in saying that when it comes to the nursery schools, you just keep them till January. I think a lot of people, parents will not be happy, but since they can't wear masks, I think that would be the general trend that might end up following. Even though more people are, even schools that started online. I spoke to a school owner yesterday. She said she was trying to do the whole term online. Initially, parents agreed, but now parents don't say, "I don't tire, I beg, make you just start." When we come back, physical school, yeah. So I have a feeling that even this online might not last the whole of the time. Maybe most people will pick up physical school later on in the year. But I thought what was annoyingly interesting to me was one of the headlines that say a woman that is a doctor, came from one of these Nigerian schools. That thing was just annoying me. Annoying me because Nigerians from Nigerian schools continue to do well.
Exactly.
People can say a lot of things, and this is it's not from today. It's not today. We have so many people that are products of Nigerian school, Tete, that have been doing extraordinary things all over the world. Nigerians are resilient. It doesn't matter where we are coming from. When we enter a place and we see what it takes to succeed, we can succeed. So, and we've proven that over and over again. So this headline was more annoying me small. Even the one that talked about the Nigerian guy fails job twice, does
Me too.
scholarship.
People have failed them 5 times.
So for me, I was like, what is that? People fail for various reasons. Failure is never the end.
Sure.
Failure is just a. And I like something that over the weekend as one webinar. She said you fail to shine even better. So when you fail, that when you come out again, man, they will know you landed. So I think it's important that we always, put failure not in the bad light that it is. We put it in light like the guy that invented the light bulb. Say you might fail so many times, but that doesn't put a stamp on who you will be, where your destiny is taking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's it for me.
That's a big time motivation this morning. The failure should actually be part of everyone's story, because there's no how you can do it. You will surely be stuck somewhere with idea that may actually make you to fail. It may not be deliberate. It may just be just little error. As I used to tell people, I'm a product of error, and with just small error, I had innovation every time, and those innovation make me stand out over there. And anybody out there should not be afraid of making mistakes, because those mistakes will make you come with a lot of ideas that you actually navigate you to the best. So let's start.
Just
Okay,
to
so
add to what you
what
mentioned,
headlines caught your
just to
attention?
add to what you mentioned, and then I'll go from there to the headlines. I read this book about Israel called The Startup Nation. And one of the things that Israel encourages their young people to do from the very beginning, from when they are young, is fail. Like, go and do stuff and fail. Because they want people to get comfortable with failing. Because as they get comfortable with failing, they now get on to even do more things that are more successful. And that is why, if you really check the story of the Israelites, they have done amazing. Like, you see young people doing amazing, and that's because from early on, as little as when you're a child, you're given opportunities to try new things, fail, learn, grow, and all that. And so that's why you really see young Israelites who have achieved so much compared to their counterparts from other parts of the world. Anyway, back to the
Right.
headline. It was interesting to me that nursery schools in Edo State will be resuming 2021, because, like Mr. Adeusi mentioned, that's what will likely happen for many other schools, because everybody's waiting now to see how the end of the year goes, if there are going to be new guidelines that can accommodate having them in a physical school building, safer ways to do it. Because what I see is that over the course of this pandemic, information keeps being updated. There are better ways of doing things, and so that would continue. So let's see how the end of the year goes, and then we'll know how safer 2021 can be for children in the nursery classes. Then another one that caught my attention is that Brazil doesn't have enough teachers, because of this crisis. And I know there'll be many Nigerians that would want to relocate to go and help them fill that need, but
Right.
unfortunately,
That's
that
what
is
I'm
not the
about to say.
option right now.
They should just they should
And then
just
of
send their
course,
job vacancy to Nigeria. They should just send all
yeah.
the job vacancy to Nigeria. Then teachers will be moving from Nigeria to Brazil. No time.
Then of course, the cost of the learning loss, it's really a lot. I'm happy that there is a country that has calculated, because many times if we do not calculate these things, we don't really know how big, how bad the situation was. And so that is why when you still hear some people saying, no, we don't want schools to resume. They need to understand that we have lost a lot and we have to try to see how we can do better. So things may not be perfect or things may not be as it used to be, but there are ways for us to ensure that education happens safely as much as we can. And then this other one that really got my attention again is teachers who were demoted, I think. I think the word was demoted because of examination malpractice. I think that it's a good one. Yes, I think it's good that something like that happened because it just seems like the case seems to keep going up and up of how teachers are even the ones encouraging malpractice in school. I mean, if you are the ones that are supposed to be upholding the law, teaching them to be honest, and you are the one also teaching them the wrong thing, then when you are complaining about the government, what are you also doing in your own in the school, right? So I think that more teachers need to stop it, stop all this special center making the children, because what we're doing indirectly is we're telling the children that even though I taught you, I'm not confident that what I taught you is enough to help you pass the exam by yourself. I know a story of a school that they had taught the children, they had prepared them for the exam, but for some reason, I don't know if it was fear or what, they started showing up in the exam hall, giving the students expo, and all those kinds of things. So what you wasted your time the whole year teaching us? I don't understand it. So yeah, those are the things that got my attention.
I think there should be a law by the federal government, maybe 6 months imprisonment if you facilitate such, not that the major person, maybe 6 months or 3 months or 1 month, some of those things, or a fine of 500,000, a fine of 1 million. But something, when they bring such law to Nigeria, the next thing youth out there will be saying is that is a simple corruption. Now, what of about 2.1 billion naira that was meant for school that was found in somebody
Exactly.
else's account? Just that was yesterday or when. Such should be given. It is not balanced. It is not balanced. The reason some of these people actually do some of these things is because when big people actually steal a lot of money or commit a kind of big offense, they are not being punished. So why are the people who are actually trying to just do petty corruption? Why are they doing? Why they be punished? So that is why some of these things are getting rampant almost every day. So, but we definitely be sure that we can start somewhere. If we start somewhere, we surely get to the final destination. Any news again? I just wish that some of those news should be displayed.
You just said something now about petty corruption. And that's also part of the problem. The fact that some people already think that this one is small, this one is big. Why should you punish this one and not punish that one? That's also a problem. Because I remember reading something online last night, I think on Instagram, and the person was saying the family is the smallest unit of the society. If we do well within that our small unit, and everybody is doing well in those small units across the country, it's going to reflect on what we see in the general society, right? So, but when we already think, this one is small, so okay, I can tell this small lie. I don't need that other one is big. Or I can steal this small one, but I will not steal million. It's like we're sharing it. This one is big. This one is not big.
Then from there, it's going to be distributed to. Okay, I think it should start from the family then.
I'm telling you. What was you said? Just well, thank you everyone for joining us. Good morning, everyone. We see you. If you're good morning, thank you for joining us. Akuma, thank you for joining us. Akuma, thank you for joining us. Everybody. You're doubly special because we know that a lot of people are back in school. So when you can sneak out time to just come and still join us in the morning, we are really, really grateful. If you're, please let me tell Rotary to stop being jealous. Yes. So, okay, workplace dynamics. I think this topic. There are some topics that I know if Ben will show up in the morning for, because if Ben, super hot. That's the topic. I say, I'm sure if Ben will be a good morning show this morning. Even let you start. Workplace dynamics. What are your thoughts on this? What have you seen in practical happen, especially within the school environment? And what's your advice, to everyone listening outside?
Yeah, workplace dynamics is it's actually a very big topic. I was actually expecting somebody to actually bring a kind of introduction. Then from there, I will now bring different thoughts that is actually rolling on my head. Maybe because I am about 2 in 1. I practice in the classroom, and I practice by also training the teachers also. So that is why I have a kind of experience as a teacher and also a kind of experience outside of the classroom. Talking about workplace dynamics, and we are actually talking about employee dealing with the goal set by the organization, and workplace dynamics is actually a very big time. How will I put it? Um, um, Subject matter that everybody out there needs to actually focus on, and it's just like an extension of what we talked about yesterday, which is all about. Can somebody remind me again that yesterday's topic? uh, Remind me yesterday's topic because she can't even
Oh,
remember it.
yesterday's job description.
Job description. So it is just like an extension of job description. So workplace dynamics, what are those things that we are meant to be doing in the school that we are not meant to be doing? Mr. Rotimi talked about something yesterday, politics in the school, so many things. I know by the time we start, there is still time for me to discuss a lot, deep statement from the depth of my heart. But I just want everybody to first say something. And this is just my introduction. Workplace dynamics is actually a broad content that actually talks about everything that happened in the workplace, both the good one, the bad one, what you are meant to do, and talking about what your boss really know, talking about feedback, talking about organization the lack of leadership and identity, talking also about um, the lack of cultural integrity, so many things as we talk about workplace dynamics. And the cultural identity is also another thing that so many people tend so many people focus on in the workplace. Like now, I work in a school before where the set of people from the south actually they are just one apart, while from the west they are in another side. If somebody from the south is actually employed as head of school, it is going to favor the whole of the south. If somebody from the west is actually employed as is actually the head of school, it is going to favor the west. So just a lot of those things. And they're talking about leadership too. Some of those things don't actually portray a good leadership. And a good and strong leadership should not actually look at some of those things. There was something I actually learned from yesterday's topic, and I will not lie to you. That was Mrs. Okenyefu talking about a particular subject matter, talking about work ethic, and the other one. It was actually a strong message to me. And even somebody as I am still learning almost every day. And I put those things. I still went back yesterday night to actually research more about it. And the feedback too. I will never forget Mrs. The present Commissioner of Education. She said she's looking for feedback. And then one day in her place of work, she decided to do a 360 feedback by giving everybody opportunity to send anonymous message just for us to get feedback about who she is, what she's doing that is not right. And then she said something during the conference. She said that one of the staff said, "When I greet you, you don't smile. This and that. That you're supposed to, greet him back and say that, yes, how are you? How you doing? Different personality and more." So I will just give everybody a kind of a big opportunity for them to bring in their own thoughts. Then from there, I will now come into morning.
Over to you.
Okay, so workplace dynamics, like Eben already mentioned, it's quite broad. So I'll just try to speak about it from a few angles. So from the angle of staff relationship with their bosses, and then of course staff relationship with themselves, both those that are within your department and those that are not within your department. So what happens is that in different work environments, these relationships could vary, and the variation will determine how well people see their place of work as a united place or a place of divisions. When Iben was speaking about this will favor some people and it's not favor the other people, I could understand, because I remember I worked somewhere one time, and when I got there, I remember that a group of people, Igbos, let me say, Igbos came to meet me and they said I should be close to just the Igbos. And I am someone that I was born in the north, and then we moved to Lagos. My school was in Akwa Ibom. In the course of my school being in Akwa Ibom, I went to Makurdi, I went to Port Harcourt, and then I came to Lagos. I went to UI, then I served in what's the name? I served in Zamfara. I did a project in Maiduguri. Like, I have been almost all over the whole country, you know. So I have friends from all over, right? And you're not telling me I should, like, I don't know how to do those things. I deal with people on an individual basis, not from where you come from. So if you prove yourself as a person that you are not good enough, it's okay. I will know that, oh, you, this is how you are. Not that I will now lump your whole generation and people like that. I don't know how to do those things. So it didn't quite sit right with me when those people made those moves. And I just was my usual self, being normal, you know, to everyone. But then workplace dynamics is really important. So from the part of employee to bosses. So sometimes you work in a particular work environment, and it's very important for you to understand where you are. When you understand where you are, you will use wisdom to behave, because if you do not understand where you are, you could end up getting into too much trouble than is actually necessary. So if, for example, you are in a work environment where the boss is always right, this boss is the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega, they don't hear word in quotes, and you know that there is something of value that you are trying to share with that boss, but you also know that this way, the way it operates here, it never gets on. If you really want to help the system, you need to find a way to make that information go. Such a, like, one of the things that I learned in that particular work environment is, and when you create something or you come up with something that would help, take it to this boss and let the boss be able to pass it off as their own idea. So if the boss, something that will make the boss look good and you know ahead. So it worked for that kind of boss, because that is how this boss is. This boss is a know it all and always want to be seen as knowing it. Doesn't want to be seen as looking incompetent by anyone. And so to work with such a person, you would come from that angle. Also, if you're working in so that's employee boss relationship. So know the kind of boss that you have, and then know how to always use wisdom when you are going to present whatever it is as you do your work in that environment. Now, with your colleagues, if you operate in a work environment where when you make a suggestion, the first thing people are going to think about is, how old are you? When did you join the system? We have been doing this before you were born. You know, if you find yourself there, and you know that you are there, it's not as if the another job you're going to go and take tomorrow. Then again, wisdom prescribes that you ask yourself, how am I going to function here and do well? So that so one of the things I had to do when I found myself in an environment like that was, whenever I had to speak on anything, I always came from the angle of knowledge and competence. So yes, you have been here since before I was born, or yes, you have been here before I even knew there was anything like this. That is okay. But on this topic I am speaking on right now, I know it more than you. And so because every time I would have to speak on those areas, I would always share things that they did not know. At some point, everybody was able to, you know, calm down and know that, okay, yes, she knows what she's talking about. So it left that thing of, how old are you? How many years have you been in the system? You know, those kinds of. So again, wisdom is really so important. So I had to touch on that, because sometimes when we talk about workplace dynamics, it falls to relationships between colleagues, with the bosses. Of course, there are other areas too, but I just thought to highlight this. I'm done.
Let me quickly talk about um, knowing your boss. I think one of those things that actually makes I've actually been in that shoe also before, and it was when I don't actually read people before I actually come into conclusion. Um, for some days now, I actually understand that understanding or knowing individual will actually make your work in an organization better. If you know this person as a sanguine, treat the person as a sanguine. If you know this person as a choleric, if this person is an introvert, don't think because the person is an introvert and be like, oh, okay, this person is an introvert. She does not talk to me. She used to form. She used to do this and that. Don't actually use some of those things to behave because knowing your boss, knowing the person that is immediate to you, maybe your HOD, knowing them deeply sometimes will actually give you one of the edge out there to create an effective work dynamics. And another thing that I actually find out is feedback. I'll actually talk about feedback. But a lot of people don't get feedback. Feedback is strong, but in this maybe because we don't have there's no training about feedback or we don't attend training for feedback. I think I'm going to even do that on my platform where I'm going to make a month feedback, how to dynamics of feedback because I'm still also learning about feedback, and I think it is quite very important that we learn feedback and interaction between individual also. I won't tell you that don't be close with someone too much, but make sure that everybody is your friend. Not that these type of people are, these are my bestie. These people, they are like heaven and earth. Okay, maybe because you see them now, you neglect the other people that you are talking to, and then immediately you leave them, you leave those people, and then you want to go and make them meet others. And then there is something that used to come into people's mind. I'm also talking as if it has happened to me. Don't think you know it all. Don't think you know it all. Don't think because you work in a particular organization before and them now bring may have worked in this organization before. I know what we do there. This is how we do our display board. This is how we decorate our class. This is how we teach. We don't do this before we teach. And also sometimes don't think acknowledge your mistake. I think mistake was even our introduction this morning. Acknowledge your mistake. Don't think that you are everything. If you make mistake, even at the front of the children in the classroom, there was a time I talked about mistake as part of learning in the classroom, and I gave teachers opportunity to actually talk about the serious mistake they make in the classroom. You need to see comments. It's still on my website where teacher talk about she wanted to write a particular sentence on the board and she make a very big error, and then she was like, hey, when she saw it, the children already noticed that mistake. But at the end of the day, she called the children together and then she told them that I made a mistake on the board. And they said, yes, they knew. For sure, she acknowledged that mistake. In the office, don't dress too casual. Dressing too casual also is part of it. The topic is quite wide. So I don't even know. I'm just writing some of my points down. And keep your
Yeah.
boss informed. Keep your boss informed. Keep
So
your boss
when you were
informed.
talking about feedback, when we're
Yeah.
talking about feedback, I was reminded of something. Even
It's
this
like
feedback, aside feedback in the workplace, you should ask for personal feedback from your friend. I asked my friends, I think last week, to give to
I
give
think
me
maybe correct.
feedback, and it was very. I say I'm laughing. It was so interesting to read what they what they had to say because although for the most part all they said was good, but I also saw that there were some areas that I felt, and like one of them said that me, whenever I want to achieve something and I just get into this boss mode, I just like do the papa. So sometimes you're like, why is God treating me like this? But that she now had to pray that why is God treating me like this? And God was like, see, when it's time to work, you will put friendship aside and focus on the work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
though she looked at it from that positive angle, I still got the message there that yes, even though yes, I'm trying to achieve something and I'm all, oh, let's get it done, let's get it done. I should also calm down, and be
Yeah.
considerate of feelings, it
True.
helps. Let that balance be there. Of course, it's not that I'll not now do what is, but let that balance be there. So yes, even as individuals with your friends, also get feedback. It's not just only in a system. What that does is it makes. In fact, one of them said, I've also learned something right now from you that I should also start asking for feedback because I don't ask people. So I've learned that from you right now. So yes, that
So,
feedback thing is really good.
Someone sneaked in. I'm still trying to get used to seeing the face of this person. So I'm wondering, who is this dude? Who is this dude that just
To be sincere,
yeah.
I laughed the moment I saw it. See, Mr. Jude. We did
Before I
not
hand
know
it
at
over to
the
the
This is the first time I will be seeing his face. So,
We are back
are you
and
serious?
better.
Before I hand it over to you to talk, I like some of the things that Eben has said. When it comes to workplace dynamics, I think the first thing is to quickly try and understand the workplace that you have, what kind of workplace it is. Know that in the end, it's important that you help your boss look good. That's what Safety Chick said. It's important that you help your boss look good. It's important that you help your boss excel. Don't look at it as it's trying to steal my idea. It's important you help him excel. But you have to try and quickly understand the dynamics so that you can use social and emotional intelligence on how to navigate while staying true to yourself. I really like that. There will always be workplace dynamics, because there are different personalities, different people. But if you want to excel, you need to quickly understand the dynamics, quickly understand the power players, the various players in the dynamics, and then
power
say to
player.
yourself, what's the best way to work with them? What do you have to say about workplace dynamics?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
you
you.
can.
Okay. Uh, that I've always dealt with workplace dynamics. I've always dealt with almost every day, almost every time. I have colleagues that come to me and say, this person is behaving like this or this. So it's a natural thing, and I don't think it's going to go anytime soon, right? And it's just that we have to manage the toxicity that might be within it. But for workplace dynamics, there's going to be politics in work, right? There's going to be tribalism of some sorts. There's going to be favoritism. There's going to be nepotism. There's going to be all sorts of what we accuse politicians for. We are going to see it in our very face in the workplace. But the truth is that we just have to manage how toxic it might become and maybe harness the benefits of it, because sometimes it just has to do with everybody's ability to socialize. It just has to do with everybody's ability to socialize, everybody's ability to understand each other, and everybody's ability to adopt and strategize on how to relate with one another. But sometimes it goes over hills and becomes toxic and it becomes unproductive. But one way or the other, we are always going to face workplace dynamics. We're always going to face people who are going to be like Achilles heels, right? So we just have to do with it and manage it till we leave that place.
Yep, you are right,
But
Mr. Jude.
let me even ask someone from this angle. As a school owner, what should school owners be doing? Because in terms of the environment, the management, the leadership tend to drive the direction in which it will take. If the environment is going to be very toxic, it's mainly because the management is a bit toxic, or likes the fact that sometimes people like that divide and conquer. It pays because when people are united, the Bible said that when man is united, there's nothing they cannot do. So when staff are united, they know that they can come against the management. The management sometimes don't like that, so they like that divide and conquer thing where everybody's quarreling, so nobody can come together to agree. It's like Nigeria now. Nobody can come together. Nobody can come together and agree anything because they're always fighting against some. So what are your takes? What does management, the school owner, the school administrator, what do they need to do to build a better workplace environment and workplace dynamics? So we'll start with Even. Even.
Yeah, okay. Just like an advice to everybody out there, school owners, especially, let me use the word school leaders. I will be going across higher institution this time. I belong to an higher institution long time ago where if you are maybe the registrar of the organization, you are going to be employing people that are from your region, maybe from Benin. You are going to be employing those people and you will plant them around everybody that are meant to be obstacle to you so that you'll be getting information. Such thing are not actually right. By the time you leave, sorry, my video is off. By the time you leave such organization, it's going to serve as a very big time problem to those people that you employ. I'm actually talking about an example right now in a particular organization where what is happening right now is what how they have been employed just because they favor that particular set of people and they employ them. So at the end of the day, everything is now towards another direction. So my advice to every school leader out there is that leave favorism alone. Let's talk about expertise. How expert are you? How good are you in your subject matter? What do you can you do it well? Make sure that you don't favor people based on, although there's something Mr. Jude actually said that it can't be taken out of our system. I think it is an inborn trait where if you see, especially if you see maybe a Yoruba woman, you see a Yoruba woman, I like this girl, she's even a Yoruba, or maybe a Igbo woman, she's even Igbo, or even man to woman. I've been to so many organizations where by the time they see that she's a girl, I like ladies being my teacher, so I don't like man being my teacher. Even in early years, although I don't even know, it's a very big topic for now. Who to teach early years, whether men or women, and then we see a lot of guys studying early childhood education and they are not practicing. So that is even another big topic. So every school leader out there should not be good, there should not be favorism, there should be direct. As a leader, you should just manage your school the way it's meant to be, and self-control, control yourself, communicate with them, try as much as possible to ask them feedback about you. What's happening? Are you not doing it well? What are those things you need to do? Then at the end of the day, everything is going to be all right. We have just 10 minutes left. Let me leave it to everybody to talk. Mr. Rotimi is back.
You say you want to give everybody opportunity to talk, and the first thing says Mr. Rotimi is back. I've always been back.
That's true.
You're just seeing me.
Let me just add one thing
Jude
to
is
what Eden has said.
temporarily around.
Temporarily.
Sorry to me, you came and then Mr. Prophet Jude left. Anyways,
No,
Eden has
I've been
touched on
around.
quite a lot. So I'll just add one more to what to the others he has already said. Conflict resolution. As a school leader, if you do not have an impartial way, a balanced way of resolving conflict, it's going to affect your workplace dynamic. So if you operate a system where somebody will come and gossip to you, this one did like that one did like that, then instead of you to actually try to get the other party to the table, you start working with the information you were given. It's not healthy for the environment. As a matter of fact, you should have a kind of workplace that people know that if they should come and whisper something, you are going to call both parties. So it will make them careful of what they are coming to whisper to you. I'm telling you, I've seen that actually work in some work environments where some people now seem like they are the ones that have the owner's ears. So they are the ones always saying, and then the owner or leader is working with that information, and then every other person working that's how they do. But when I've also seen another work environment where the leader always let you, okay, this is what, oh yeah, both of you come together, yeah, say it, both of you say it in my presence. And you see, it made people careful of the kinds of things that were said. And that is really important, because the truth is conflict will always arise where two or more are gathered. So the wisdom to handle it is very, very important, so that you don't now create a skilled work environment.
All right, thank you so much.
I completely agree. The leadership I feel are very key in driving in the workplace. And the more you need some things in the board, that one of someone comes to report to me, and then you listen to that person. When you bring the two people together and they both know how to say they're part of it, then people realize that, okay, all these backbiting, the management doesn't support it. And then when the management intentionally doesn't do favoritism and all those, Nigerian factor thing. And let me give you a personal example of myself. When I grew up in management, I don't like people carry my bag. I don't let them carry all those my stuff for me. Those things that make it seem as if people used to, when I'm the one carrying management bag,
Yeah,
or something
madam.
as if you need to come to me. So I was very intentional. I'm very intentional. The only person that has ever helped carry my stuff for me or be my driver. My Jones, I'm down and pain. But any other staff carry my bag. I'm telling you that, don't worry, I already carried it halfway before I got to the spot. Don't knock me. So there are some things that you can be intentional in doing. When you lay out the law of what it is for a staff to be honored, and then it's clear, it's not hidden. You give everybody a fair chance. You don't make it seem you're speaking your language and little things here and there that you can do to begin to show that performance driven. It's not about where people come from. So I won't come in the office and I'll be discussing speaking to you in my language. I want to encourage people to do it. I want to encourage people to do as if they are just members together. All those things are all the kind of things that begin to create. We know that human beings naturally will want to do those things. People, before you say Jacob, they want to help you carry your bag. Mommy. I say, you're not my children. My children are not. All those things is inbred in us to come to. It's all over the world. That sacrifice is inbred. That backbiting. It's once there are 2, 3, 4 people together. All those dynamics immediately come to play. But you as leadership, you as a school leader, you need to be intentional. You need to say, what are the things that I need to do that doesn't encourage those kind of things? Let me give you an example. This is a very funny one. I worked in a bank once, and they used to insist on us doing early morning prayers. I was a Christian, so I didn't mind doing those early morning prayers. Then it now became something else. It now became a avenue of office politics. I was like, over coming to pray and worship God.
Power of His praise.
I went to, if they said anything about office fellowship, after that one, I made up my mind, I'm not going to get involved. And because I just saw the way that they could take something so simple and manipulate it for all sorts of things. So if you're not attending the fellowship, you're sidelined, you're seen as evil, and I'm like, for what? So that's why I say that there's something when it comes to the office place. You just have to make it optional. If you want your office to be fine, make it optional. It shouldn't be compulsory. Don't let it be now turned something that is good. Don't be pulled into something that now creates one horrible office dynamics.
All right, thank you so much. We've been having a great conversation, I believe, and we need to recognize something, that when we talk about office dynamics or workplace dynamics, right? A lot of times, one of the factors that I believe would go a long way in managing and stabilizing things is when you check what is the average expectation. Sometimes a lot of people get to have this mediocre perspective as to the standard expected of the workplace, and it will definitely play out in the dynamics of things, in the specs of things, in everything that happens. So one of the things that one can do is to ensure that the organization is always checking its pulse as regards to what their expectations are. If your expectations are short of excellence, if your expectations are below average, definitely certain things will creep in. It's just normal. It's the dynamic in itself. The organization will not just stay in isolation of anything. Things will creep in based on what is expected. The minimum standard required in that organization will facilitate the dynamics that follow suit. I know people and I know places where, just based on their standards, the mindset and the cliche that is obtainable in those organizations just makes them follow suit. And like Titi rightfully said, even when you look at banks, sometimes you can differentiate bank A from bank B based on more or less the perspective of the expectation. So sometimes you see some particular people from a bank and you feel that, man, these bankers are arrogant. They are always feeling superior to the others. While some other people, you look at them and you can almost determine the brand that they're a part of. And this is because of the standards required. And this thing happens within, it also happens outside. I don't know if Jude wants to say something else because I think he was about to talk when he came out. Jude, any extra comments? Jude. Mr. Jude Ashedu, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
See how Jude is looking well fed this morning.
My take on it is for every school.
That is a feminist statement. I cancel that
Yes,
statement.
but my take is we should build every organization should be able to build a positive culture, a positive workplace.
Okay, positive workplace.
And that's very important. Your work culture should be very, very key to bringing everybody and making everybody inclusive in your workplace environment.
Fantastic, fantastic. So last words, Gochi, Iben, Titi, last words.
Okay, so I'll just say that, like we've been saying from the beginning, it's very important for you to understand where you are, understand the dynamics of the environment you find yourself, and then apply wisdom.
Apply wisdom. Iben, last words.
Yeah, you can build a positive career just by understanding the dynamics of the workplace. Very sure, building a positive career, you can be recognized, you can be celebrated, and then with that, you would be promoted. Thank you.
And then Titi.
I think it's important for school leaders and everyone to understand that what's the word I use? A very good office place dynamics improves productivity. So go out of your way to create, a workplace that is not toxic, a workplace that promotes performance that is not bad in a competitive light. So there are just some things that when people feel appreciated, when people feel loved, respected, their views, and when they feel it's okay to fail, there's improved productivity. And improved productivity can only help your business grow and prosper. That would be my results.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're going to be here tomorrow by God's grace, and we are ending of September in style. We're going to be speaking on office politics, workplace politics tomorrow. And I believe it's going to be an extended version of our series this week. Please ensure you join us, connect with us. Like Iben said at the beginning, subscribe to our channels, follow us, like our page, share the videos, and do something deliberate in getting sure that your vision and your desires are actually achieved. It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show, and our analysts and our experts are saying have a great day, and they're saying bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See everyone. Bye.